Welcome to the postseason edition of Bench Talk with Coach Beard. I'm Robert Giovanetti, sitting in for Adam Doyle, brought to you by Southwest Bank. Coach, I know you'd rather be playing right now, but how do you kind of get the end of the season out of your system?
Several ways. You know, one thing as coaches, you immediately kind of shift your mind towards recruiting, thinking about the future. And then the other thing that I've always done that helps me kind of try to find some peace after seasons is spend time with the current players. Right. So I know in the last couple of weeks I've been in Keenan Evans' home in Dallas, met with his mom and dad, and Zach Smith's mom and dad, and we've got some other trips planned. But it's always an important part of our offseason to kind of circle back with everybody and make sure we're all on the same page.
Do you look back now on last year, around this time, a little bit later, when you came here to Texas Tech and you had to kind of hit the ground running? Now you're able to have been here a year and establish what you want to do.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you know, we hit the ground running really, really fast last spring. Had kind of the core nucleus of our team back, spent a lot of time re-recruiting those guys, whereas now we have a spring to really try to get better. And I think the key for not only next year's team but the future of our program is the improvement of our returning players. It certainly starts with that kind of now senior class with Keenan and Justin, Norrance and Zach, guys that have been here for a long time, and then the pieces around them. So right now is a big time for development with our program.
What do you do with those guys during the offseason? How much can you work with them?
The NCAA has it set up now where we can get on the court more than we had in previous times. We get a certain amount of time on the court basketball-wise. We get a certain amount of time in the weight room with John Riley. But I think one of the pieces that's maybe more important than even being on the court is to continue to develop these relationships. I thought that we had a lot of positives in our first season, you know, winning 18 games, beating, I think, 3 nationally ranked teams, beating several teams that were in the NCAA tournament. But the big thing we're still kind of fighting is just simply time. And I'm looking forward to having another spring and summer to even develop even closer relationships with our returning players.
You always really focus on the seniors, and you didn't have a lot of time with last year's group, except for Bransmo, who'd been with you everywhere. But this year, another year under your belt with these guys, does it help you even establish that relationship even more?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope so. I've said it before, and I'll say it many times again, but I appreciate this past year's seniors, the guys that helped us establish the program in a lot of ways. I think they would be the first to tell you that we didn't win as many games as we wanted to. We didn't extend our season as long as we did. But there were a lot of positives, and I'll always be thankful and appreciative of those guys helping us get things started. Nobody has higher expectations for this program than I do personally, and the people that I associate myself with every day, the staff and our returning players. And so looking forward, next year's seniors, it's going to be another big-time important group for us. You
like to say, and I've heard you say it a lot, hey, only one team is happy at the end of the year cutting down the nets on a Monday night. But how do you assess? You had a lot of great things to build on from this first year.
Yeah, I think so. One thing that I really want to talk about today was our fan base. I think there's so many positives this year. Season tickets at an all-time high, and then our season ticket holders did a good job coming to the games this year, developing systems where nights they couldn't come to the games, they gave their tickets to friends and family. Our student body did a great job. It increased as the year went on. We had some great crowds, you know, in late January and February. And so simply stated, I'm very thankful for all the people, both at Tech that worked really hard, yourself included, and also the people in town that supported the program. And I think our recruiting's going well. Not only the players that will be on next year's team, but future years. We're getting involved with some of the younger kids in the state and across the country. So you know, the program's in a good state right now. Again, did not meet expectations this year in terms of the wins and where we wanted to be late in the season, but it's time now to shift our attention to the focus, which I think everybody in the program is doing so.
You mentioned this a lot, that there is a correlation between the fans and winning and moving on up. And do you think we've established that we've got a foothold this year?
I think we're going in the right direction. You know, the big piece that I continue to think about is, you know, our student body. Anything we can do to continue to get our students to come to Tech basketball games, not only in the Big 12 games in February and March and January, but also in November and December. And so we're working tirelessly at that. And to me, it just comes down to what recruiting comes down to. It's relationships. And we're trying to do everything we can to get relationships with the student body to make sure that Tech basketball is a part of their college experience.
Probably nobody works harder at recruiting than you and your staff. And are you seeing that starting to pay off, that people are starting to, hey, take notice of what's happening at Texas Tech basketball?
Absolutely. You know, I don't think we work any harder than anybody else, but I damn sure know nobody works as hard as we do, so or harder than we do. So recruiting is a 24/7, 12-month deal. And last spring, I think we did a good job kind of getting some impact guys in a tight timeline. But now we're really able to step back and start building for the future. And I've said all the time, I'm not a big planner. I have a day-to-day plan, but I do have a long-term vision. And the vision for our program is to get to where we compete for championships. And where a good year is not making the NCAA tournament, a good year is making a run in the tournament and trying to play on that last Monday night. And at the foundation of all that are the things we're talking about today: fan base, especially our students, and then certainly with recruiting.
We saw Keenan. You talked about Keenan and being in his home with his family, but we really saw him develop, I think, this year. And that's been kind of a staple of a Chris Beard team, the development of the guards. How important are the guards into what you try to do on the floor?
Yeah, not only with us. I think everybody in college basketball, it's a guard game in a lot of ways. You see that late in the
season especially, right?
The thing I've been most proud of in our staff and really our culture and our program is how guys can improve within our program. And I think the latest example of that would be Keenan Evans. I think Keenan was a good player at Tech in the past, but this year he got himself in the next level where he's an all-conference player in the Big 12. And it's exciting to think about both him and Zach getting all-conference mentions this year, as well as some of our other returning players, and where it can go in the future. So I'm not satisfied with Keenan being a third-team All-Big 12 player. I want him in that top 5 next year. And I'd put some of other guys in that same category with Zach, Justin, and Lawrence. We have a lot of returners. I think what's very important is these guys improve, and that's what we're really working hard at right now.
A year ago when you got hired, you said, hey, when Mama calls, you got to come home. A year later, how happy are you with your decision to come here and kind of put your stakes down at Texas Tech?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. I think that there's a lot of coaches around the country that have great jobs, but I don't think there's anyone that has the job that I have here, a place that I am 100% committed to. And for lack of better words, just very proud and appreciative of being here. And so, we came here to get a job done. We're going to get it done. There's going to be a time in the near future when we're playing games right now, and I'm not doing these interviews with you, even though I'm enjoying this right now. I'd much rather be, getting ready to travel to Phoenix with the guys. But no, it starts with just how important this program is to me. And the guys that I work with every day, with Brian and Al and Mark, and Chris, they feel the same way. And what's exciting is our players are starting to feel that way too. Some of the text messages that I've gotten from Zach and Keenan and some of the guys, Tommy Hamilton during the tournament, just kind of shows that we're all on the same page here. There's nobody in our program that's not a little beat up right now, the fact that we're not playing in this tournament. And I think that's a great foundation of where we're starting. We're all on the same page that the expectations have been risen here quickly, and I'm proud of that.
All right, Coach. Well, we're glad you're here. This has been Bench Talk with Beard. Thanks to Southwest Bank.